That night, the residents along Samantha Drive had no idea that a pickup truck was quietly parked outside the apartment complex with something in the bed that no one would ever want to see. The call to local law enforcement was short and strangely cold. A 56-year-old man, unresponsive, not breathing. But when deputies arrived on scene and looked into the bed of that truck, they knew immediately. This was not a routine accident. The man had been beaten, and the story the 911 callers gave didn't match anything in front of them. So what really happened that night? And who left Steven McCoy in this condition? To understand why Steven McCoy's death left behind so many questions, we need to understand who he was. Those close to him describe Steven as someone who never met a stranger. He loved his family, loved fishing by the pond near his childhood home where he and his siblings grew up in the countryside, surrounded by long, carefree summer days. His younger sister recalls that her brother never left without saying, "I love you," no matter where he was, no matter the circumstances. His son says that whenever he stepped onto a stage, the first person shouting the loudest in the audience was always his father. The familiar words would ring out, "That's my boy," and he would answer back, "That's my dad." A small ritual between father and son enough to be carved into memory forever. This was not a man with enemies. This was a father, a brother, a friend, and his passing would leave a void nothing could ever fill. So what really happened that night? And who left Steven McCoy in this condition? The call to dispatch was brief and cold. A 56-year-old man, unresponsive, not breathing. Address, Samantha Drive.
This guy in the back of your truck?
Back of the truck? No, we were riding down the road and discovered him on the side of the road.
149 dispatch. Oh, and picked him up?
We seen what we thought was a body, okay?
Yeah.
Or I did. I said, hold on a minute, seen that ditch. So we backed up, pulled over the side. He was kind of laying down in there. And I said, there you go.
Was he alive when you found him?
A 56-year-old male, unresponsive, not breathing. Not breathing? Okay. What's the address? Samantha?
131 dispatch.
Go ahead.
We're out to Samantha.
Deputies arrived on scene within minutes.
This guy in the back of your truck?
What they found was not inside a home, not in the roadway. It was in the bed of a pickup truck parked right outside the apartment complex. The man lay there, motionless, his face and head covered in bruises, an injury to his eye, scrapes along both arms. One look told them everything he had been beaten, and beaten badly.
Is this your truck?
In the bed of the truck, alongside the body, was a scattered collection of items: a screwdriver, a pry bar, a metal rod, a backpack, and a syringe.
So y'all were driving down the road, y'all see this guy.
The 911 caller was a man named Dane who claimed he and the driver of the truck just happened to see the man lying on the side of the road and decided to bring him here. The story sounded simple, but nothing about this scene was simple. When asked why he didn't call 911 immediately after finding the man, Dane said he didn't have a phone. That answer was documented, and it would become a problem later. There wasn't much blood in the truck bed. Most of it was still on the victim himself. To seasoned deputies, that only meant one thing: this crime did not happen here.
Was there a picture with this Steven McCoy?
Yeah, Brandon.
Can you send that to me? I didn't get it.
So, where did it happen?
Well, as soon as I got up here and I saw who it was, I was like, no, that's not what happened.
It's kind of hard to blow the freaking body up like that. It's a pretty good sized bullet. Yeah, hard to be blow the freaking body up.
Detectives quickly identified the victim, Steven McCoy, 56 years old. And almost immediately, another question surfaced. Where was the driver of this truck? The driver of the pickup was quickly identified, William Weston Moon. But Weston was no longer there. He had walked away, leaving the truck, leaving Steven, leaving everything behind. That was something detectives could not ignore. The driver of a truck with a body in its bed, and his first reaction was to disappear. No call for help, no staying at the scene, just fading into the night.
He's about this tall. I don't understand why.
What clothes? What shirt?
I think he's got a white shirt on.
White shirt?
Yeah.
Older guy? He's about 30s though, right? All right. Walk over here. Here's what's gonna happen, okay? Our detectives are on the way over here. They're gonna want to talk. They're gonna want to talk to you. They're probably gonna want to get an official statement from you. I'm gonna go try to track Weston down because he's in the same boat. We need a statement from him. I mean, because we got a dead guy here.
While waiting for detectives to arrive, officers began knocking on doors along Samantha Drive. One of the people they contacted was Dane's ex-girlfriend, the same woman Dane had moved out from that very morning after a heated argument. She appeared nervous, hesitant to let anyone inside. With small children in the home and a man who had just left under unclear circumstances, officers conducted a quick protective sweep to ensure everyone was safe, but found nothing.
Got a beard.
I have no idea what happened. All I know is me and my daughter and my grandbaby was in my room playing the game. And next thing you know, they come pulling up from outside. And I'm saying, what the hell's going on? You know what's going on? And he's like, call the ambulance. I'm like, call the ambulance. I'm paying the number. So I moved it and daughter was.
Did they ever come in the house at all?
No. No, they're not allowed in my house.
Does he stay here at all?
No.
Okay. How long's this?
Well, we got into a big argument with lungs, and he left
He was here up until today, basically. Is that?
Yeah.
Step in here and look around, just all the circumstances. Nobody in here, is there? Hello. Yeah, looking through the house over here.
They come pulling up from outside, and I'm saying, what the hell's going on? You know what's going on?
House at the time.
You're good. I'm about to walk out. Thank you.
Not long after, word came in. Weston hadn't gone far. He was standing outside a convenience store less than a few hundred yards from the scene.
Does he stay here at all?
No.
Okay. How long's this?
What is your name? What is your name? Okay. What did you say? Kyle. All right.
When officers located him, Weston was outside the store, not far from where the truck had been found. His behavior was off, his statements inconsistent, and when an officer asked about the pickup, he started walking in the opposite direction.
158 dispatch.
Go ahead.
Why'd you leave? You don't think you need to talk to us? Weston hesitated. Then he said something that made the officers pause. Steven was his best friend in the world. His best friend in the world, lying dead in the bed of his truck just a few hundred yards away, and his reaction was to walk away. An officer conducted a pat-down and found a knife, then noticed something else. Blood still visible on Weston's face. You've got blood right here. Where'd that come from? Probably from helping him up. On the surface, it sounded reasonable, but only on the surface. Weston was asked to come back to the sheriff's office to give a formal statement.
What do you go by?
Was he telling the truth?
Obviously, the circumstances of what has gone on tonight, we've got to look into it, okay? What I need you to do is I need you to come with me, though, because our detective is going to want to talk to you and get into
58 dispatch.
Go ahead.
So is that your truck over there? Dispatch.
Go ahead.
114 in Ross City.
10-4-5-10.
You don't think you need to talk to us?
I figured I do, but not. My nose is goddamn. That's my best friend in the world, man.
All right, come on.
Weston was brought back to the sheriff's office. Detectives were ready,
Do what?
but this interview would not go the way anyone expected. At the station, Weston seemed like a different person.
After we got...
He sat there, head down, shoulders slumped, unable to make eye contact. The erratic, unpredictable behavior from the convenience store was gone. replaced by the heavy silence of a man beginning to understand just how serious his situation really was. The detective stepped into the room. The goal was clear: get a full and truthful statement from this man.
You say somebody else did?
But Weston didn't talk.
Dispatch.
Go ahead.
114 in Rice City.
I don't know what to say.
I don't know what you say. You need somebody to talk to you, man? Did you say? Who you need to talk to? What's your thoughts, man? Where I can understand you.
The detective remained patient. An interview like this can go a lot of different directions. A full confession, a partial admission, maybe shifting blame. The detective tried different angles, kept his tone even, careful not to push too hard. But Weston still didn't talk. Then he said the words that shut the entire interview down. He wanted a lawyer.
You wanted a lawyer, so I can't ask you any questions. I mean, if you want to tell me something you want me to hear, and you don't mind doing it in front of a lawyer, that's it.
I need today.
I doubt today, probably tomorrow. We'll see that you do. I don't know what the hold up on the jail is, but I'll find out.
Under the law, that was his right. And once a suspect asks for an attorney, all questioning must stop immediately. The detective stood up and walked out of the room. The opportunity to get a direct confession from Weston was gone. Now, if detectives wanted to know what really happened that night, they had only one option left: build the case piece by piece, from witnesses, from physical evidence, and from the parts of the story Dane still hadn't told. Weston didn't talk, but in every case, someone eventually does, and it's often the person with the most to hide.
We got a pick for.
Detectives brought Dane into the sheriff's office for a formal interview. This time, his story was very different from what he had said earlier on Samantha Drive.
This is secondary duty.
He hadn't just found a body on the side of the road.
To take you to see Melanie.
Okay, let's.
Dane admitted that earlier that afternoon, sometime between 4 and 5 p.m., Weston and Steven picked him up at Samantha Drive. The three of them left together. They drove to Harrisburg, where Steven and Weston bought a batch of blue Xanax pills. All three of them used the drugs that night.
Before, this person I ever met her close to Harrisburg. How long were you there?
Then they drove to a friend's house on County Road 625.
We got that pick for. Probably helped me fill this hour gap. Okay. It was later than that. It was already dark. About what time do you think it was? Well, I'm asking. I didn't tell you the time. I just asked about the time.
As the night went on, the drugs started to take effect, and that's when things began to escalate. Steven grabbed the backpack, the one containing the remaining Xanax, and walked away. Dane ran after him, stopped him, and brought him back. But when Steven returned, Weston was already waiting. You need to take that backpack off, right now. What happened next? Dane described step by step. Weston lunged at Steven. The two started fighting. Weston knocked Steven to the ground multiple times, kicking him in the head, kicking him in the stomach, not stopping. Dane said that when it was over, Steven was still breathing, still alive. But that wasn't the full truth, because Dane had been hiding something he hadn't mentioned even once. Steven McCoy was his cousin. Not a stranger, not someone they randomly came across on the side of the road, but family. And he stood there, watching his own cousin get beaten and did nothing. Dane had talked, but a statement from someone who already lied is never enough.
911 was your emergency.
Now detectives had a specific lead. County Road 625. That's where everything really happened. Not along Highway 149 like Dane originally claimed. But knowing the location wasn't enough. They needed someone who had stood there, seen it with their own eyes, and was willing to say it out loud. Was there anyone like that?
Oh, he's been drinking.
Officers made contact with a resident at that address, a woman named Beth. She agreed to come to the sheriff's office, and what she told them began filling in the gaps Dane had intentionally left out. Beth confirmed that Steven and Weston were at her house that night. She said she had stepped outside to smoke just long enough to see Steven charge at Weston with the backpack still on his shoulder, and Weston swing back. One punch straight to the face, hard enough to drop Steven to the ground. But it lasted maybe 5 minutes. That was all she saw. What happened after the two men moved down toward the dark end of the road she didn't know. So, was there anyone else who did?
Steve hit Weston with the backpack because he had the backpack on. Yeah, he swung them. He had the backpack on his shoulder. And he swung it at Weston and kind of hit him, not really. But that happened, and then it was a good 2 minutes before I saw Steve with the stabbing type.
Were you outside the whole time?
Yeah, maybe 5 minutes this time. Long enough to smoke a cigarette.
Okay, after Steve hit Weston with the backpack, what went on then?
Weston saying, you better get your cousin, you better get your cousin, you better get the thief off me.
Beth mentioned another name, Billy, who had been inside the house the entire night. Detectives wanted to speak with him immediately, but Billy didn't cooperate. When officers returned to County Road 625, Billy refused to come outside. The door stayed shut. No response. Deputies were forced to make entry, and when Billy finally appeared, they discovered he had an active warrant. This house was no stranger to law enforcement. It was widely known in the area for constant drug traffic, and Billy was no stranger to the deputies in that county. What did he know? And why was he hiding?
All the way,
Billy had a warrant. Billy refused to come outside. And Billy, according to Beth, had been inside the house all night. He had to know something.
Turn around.
But first, they had to get him back to the sheriff's office.
I'm going in. Sheriff's office! I got a door right here. We're gonna need another one. Hard left, hard right. Clear, coming out.
We knew that we needed to check the house. Check
This door to the left. Door to the left. Hold what you got here. Coming out. Coming out.
Dude, I told you I would.
You see something? That door.
If y'all get over here for a second. Wake up, dude. He just fell out on me. Wake up, dude. Billy. Billy. Wake up, dude.
What is this? Oh, what are you doing?
Try and get you awake.
It's gonna happen again, man. I just hear.
You'll sit down before it happens again.
This door to the left.
When Billy finally sat down for questioning, he started talking. He said that at some point that night, he stepped outside to smoke and happened to see Steven and Weston arguing in the yard. He immediately texted Justin, the homeowner, letting him know people were fighting outside. That message was time-stamped, and it gave detectives a critical marker to narrow down exactly when the incident occurred. It was around midnight, but Billy claimed he didn't see anything else. He said he went back inside right after.
You went outside to smoke a cigarette last night. About what time was this?
I could look at my phone and tell you. I called Justin to let him know that, hey, these people were out here in your yard arguing.
Is that Justin?
Me, Weston, Steve, and some other dude have been hanging out in your yard. They're on pills, I think, and I don't know how long it is. Midnight.
I see that.
Was he telling the truth? Or was this another carefully edited version of events, just like Dane's? Meanwhile, detectives uncovered a detail they had initially overlooked. Before Dane called 911 from Samantha Drive, there had been another 911 call from County Road 625 that same night. The voice on that call sounded familiar. and when detectives compared it closely, they realized it was Dane. "I need an ambulance out here on County Road 625. Someone's been hurt, maybe hit by a car or something." But Dane had said he didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
And yet he called 911 from County Road 625 right at the scene, right after the fight happened. Then, when he saw Steven show signs of movement, he called back and canceled the request, saying everything was fine, no ambulance needed. No phone, but 2 911 calls in one night. Dane's story was falling apart piece by piece, and the truth about what happened on County Road 625 that night was starting to come into focus. Dane's story was falling apart, but to charge someone with murder, witness statements are never enough. Detectives needed evidence that couldn't be argued away, and that evidence was lying on the autopsy table. The medical examiner confirmed what detectives had suspected from the beginning. Steven McCoy died from blunt force trauma to the head and abdomen. The punches, the kicks, none of them accidental. But there was one detail even Steven's family didn't know. Inside his body, the medical examiner discovered a malignant tumor on his liver, something Steven had never told anyone about, never revealed even once. He didn't want his family to worry. He didn't want them carrying that pain for him. And that tumor, after repeated kicks to the abdomen, ruptured. That rupture was the direct cause of his death. Did Weston know about it? No. No one did. But not knowing doesn't make you innocent. The toxicology report revealed something else. At the time of his death, Steven had a significant amount of methamphetamine in his system. At first, that confused detectives until they remembered the syringe found in the bed of the truck. Someone had injected Steven with methamphetamine after he was already unconscious, not to hurt him, but in a desperate, misguided attempt to revive him. So who did it, and why? Weston was sitting in jail, still refusing to talk, but detectives were still listening. Every phone call Weston made from behind bars was monitored. Every conversation, every word. He knew the calls could be recorded, but maybe he didn't think anyone was actually listening. He was wrong. In one call, Weston's voice was disturbingly calm. "I'm just hoping they'll drop it down to manslaughter. It was just a regular fight. I didn't mean for anything to happen." For the first time, in his own words, Weston confirmed he was there and that he fought Steven. The thing he refused to say, in the interrogation room, he volunteered over a jail phone. This was no longer just witness testimony. This was direct evidence.
And it just being a fist fight and being an accident.
The jail call cracked the wall of silence. And now, Weston decided to talk, but on his terms. He asked to speak with Captain Richardson, the only person he trusted enough to tell what happened. Was this the truth, or just the version of it he wanted people to believe? Weston admitted that night Steven threw the first punch, but the fight escalated. He knocked Steven to the ground multiple times, kicked him in the head, kicked him in the stomach, and couldn't stop. Then Steven stopped moving. Weston thought he had killed him. In a panic, he did something no one expected. He injected methamphetamine directly into Steven, hoping the drug would shock him back awake. It didn't work. The syringe found in the truck bed at the very beginning of the case now had an explanation, but that explanation didn't lessen what happened.
And
That's basically all you remember. All right, I'll be right here to make sure Chief has any more questions for you, and we'll get you a bomb in the short.
After the statements, the physical evidence, and the self-incriminating jail call, William Weston Moon was charged with second-degree murder. But the case didn't end in court the way many expected. Weston never went to trial. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter and, in exchange, received the maximum sentence, 10 years in prison. And Dane, the man who stood by while his cousin was beaten, who lied to deputies from beginning to end, who called 911 and then canceled it, Dane was never charged. There wasn't enough evidence to prosecute him. This wasn't just a fight that spiraled out of control. This was a story about two men described as close as brothers, ending in a death, a conviction, and a family shattered forever. An argument over a backpack, a night of drugs, and Steven McCoy never made it home again. Steven McCoy's story didn't begin with hatred. There was no long-standing feud, no elaborate plot, just two men who had known each other for years, a night of drugs and a backpack. And one of them never came home. This isn't a rare story. Every year, thousands of cases like this unfold not because people are born evil, but because small decisions stack up. Trusting the wrong person, staying out on the wrong night, fighting over the wrong thing. Methamphetamine, Xanax, things that seem like just one wild night, but can turn a friend into a threat, turn an argument into a homicide, and turn an ordinary family into people forced to live with loss for the rest of their lives. William Weston Moon will walk out of prison in 10 years. He still has a future ahead of him. Steven McCoy does not. If this story made you stop and think, subscribe so you don't miss the next case. Every week, we bring you real stories, no fiction, no exaggeration about ordinary people, bad decisions, and consequences no one saw coming. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.